Have you ever watched a professional tennis player return a 220 kilometers per hour serve and thought, there's absolutely no way a human being reacted to that? Because honestly, it almost looks like cheating. Meanwhile, your friend gently tosses you a tennis ball, and somehow, you still manage to react like your brain is running on hotel Wi-Fi. The ball has already bounced twice, and you're still deciding whether it was coming toward you. Here's the surprising part. The difference isn't always strength, it isn't endurance, and it isn't even talent. It's speed. Not running speed, not swing speed, processing speed. The speed at which your brain turns information into movement. Most athletes spend hours building stronger legs, bigger shoulders, more powerful forearms, longer cardio sessions, but very few ever train the one system that controls every single movement they make, their nervous system. Think of your body like a high-performance sports car. Your muscles are the engine, your heart is the fuel tank, but your nervous system, that's the computer controlling the entire machine. You can install a 1.0 horsepower engine, but if the computer needs an extra fraction of a second to press the accelerator, you're still losing the race. That's exactly what reaction time is. Reaction time is the complete journey between seeing something, understanding what it means, deciding what to do, and finally sending an electrical signal to your muscles. The crazy part, this entire process happens in only a few hundred milliseconds. And sometimes, just 50 milliseconds is the difference between hitting a clean winner or watching the ball fly past while you wonder if gravity suddenly changed. In sports like tennis, badminton, baseball, boxing, table tennis, or goalkeeping, where those tiny delays decide championships. The scary thing is, most athletes never notice they're slow, because reaction time doesn't feel slow. It feels like, I almost got there. I was just a little late. If only I had moved sooner. Exactly. That little late is reaction time. And here's where most people waste years. They believe, if I get stronger, I'll react faster. Nope. Or maybe I just need to run more. Also no. Strength helps after your muscles receive the command. Cardio helps you repeat that movement for longer. But neither one teaches your brain to make the decision faster. Imagine installing racing tires onto a car whose GPS still takes 5 seconds to calculate every turn. The tires aren't the problem. The computer is, and that's exactly what we're going to upgrade today. Because elite athletes don't simply move faster, they decide faster. And once you understand how that works, you'll never look at reaction training the same way again. Your eyes are secretly making you slow. Here's a question. Have you ever played against someone who somehow always seemed to know where the ball was going before it even left your racket? You smash cross court. They're already there. You fake down the line. They're waiting. After about 5 minutes, you start wondering, is this person reading my mind? Probably not. Although if they are, please stop thinking about missing that easy volley. The truth is much less mysterious. Elite athletes don't have superhuman reflexes, but they have superior visual processing. Most beginners make one huge mistake. They stare directly at the ball. Sounds logical, right? After all, everyone tells you to watch the ball, so you lock onto it like it's the last slice of pizza on earth. The problem, when your brain focuses too narrowly, it becomes blind to everything else. You see the ball, but you completely miss the clues that tell you where the ball is about to go. Elite players aren't only watching the ball, they're reading the story before the ball is even written. They notice tiny details most people never consciously see. A slight shoulder rotation, a grip adjustment, a change in foot pressure, the angle of the hips, even subtle changes in breathing or muscle tension. To an untrained eye, those things look meaningless. To an elite athlete, they're basically spoilers. It's like watching a movie after accidentally reading the ending. Your opponent hasn't even hit the shot yet, and your brain already knows what's coming. This ability is called anticipation, and anticipation is often more valuable than raw reaction speed. Imagine two players. Player A reacts in 180 milliseconds. Player B reacts in 220 milliseconds. Normally, player A should win, but if player B predicts the shot just 60 milliseconds earlier, they actually move first. Their reaction wasn't faster. Their decision started sooner. That's why anticipation beats reaction. It's like getting tomorrow's exam questions today. You're not smarter, you just had a head start. Professional tennis players don't wait for the ball to leave the racket. Goalkeepers don't wait until the penalty is halfway to the goal. Baseball hitters don't wait until the pitch crosses the plate. If they did, they'd lose every single time. Instead, their brains constantly predict thousands of tiny visual cues, processed almost automatically. And here's the best part. This isn't magic. It's trainable. One of the most effective tools is a reaction light system like FitLight or Dino Vision boards. Lights appear randomly. You react, then another appears somewhere else, over and over. These drills force your brain to scan, recognize, decide, and move, all under time pressure. You're no longer training your muscles. You're training your brain's operating system. Don't have expensive equipment. Good. Neither do most people. There are mobile apps like Vision Trainer and NeuroTracker style exercises that challenge peripheral vision, visual tracking, and decision making. Even simpler, have a partner hold up colored cones or numbered cards while you perform footwork. Instead of staring at one object, your eyes constantly scan the environment. That's exactly what happens during competition. Because sports aren't played in slow motion, they're played in chaos. Your brain has to process dozens of moving objects simultaneously. The ball, your opponent. The court, your own balance. The score, your position. And probably that one spectator who's eating nachos louder than a construction site. If your vision locks onto only one thing, your reaction slows down. But when you develop wide field awareness, your brain starts predicting instead of chasing. And that's where athletes suddenly look almost impossible to beat. Because by the time everyone else reacts, they're already moving. Your nervous system is faster than your muscles. Let's do a quick experiment. Don't actually do this while driving or while carrying hot coffee. Ready, snap your fingers. That felt instant, didn't it? It wasn't between deciding to snap and your fingers actually moving. An incredible chain of events just happened. Your eyes, your ears, or your sense of touch detect information. That information races toward your brain. Your brain compares it against years of stored experience, makes a decision, chooses which muscles need to move, then sends an electrical signal racing down your spinal cord. Finally, your muscles contract. All of that before you even realize you've moved. Your muscles aren't making decisions. They're just employees. The nervous system is the boss. If the boss gives clear instructions, everything runs smoothly. If the boss hesitates, everyone stands around waiting. Imagine ordering pizza. The chef isn't slow. The delivery driver isn't slow. The problem is the order didn't reach the kitchen. That's exactly what happens with slow reactions. Your muscles may be perfectly capable of moving, but the signal arrived late. Or worse, the signal wasn't clear. Your brain hesitated. Should I go left? Right? Forward. Wait. Too late. Point over. This is why beginners often freeze. It's not because they're weak. It's because their brains are overloaded. Every situation feels new. Every movement requires conscious thinking. Every decision burns time. Now compare that to professionals. When Novak Djokovic returns a serve, he isn't consciously thinking, rotate hips, load right leg, move left foot, prepare backhand. If he did, the ball would already be in the crowd. Instead, his brain recognizes patterns instantly. Years of repetition have turned complicated movements into automatic programs. Neuroscientists call this myelination. Every time you repeat a movement correctly, your nervous system wraps the pathway in more myelin. Think of myelin like insulation around an electrical wire. Better insulation means faster electrical transmission, more speed, more accuracy, less hesitation. That's why elite athletes often make impossible plays look effortless. They're not thinking faster, they're thinking less. The movement has become automatic, which brings us to one of the best reaction drills you can do, the tennis ball drop drill. It's ridiculously simple. Hold a tennis ball at shoulder height. Without warning, drop it. Your partner tries to catch it before the second bounce. Easy, not for long. Now make it harder. Hold two balls. Drop only one. Use different colors. Call out a number. Add fake movements. Now your brain has to identify the correct stimulus, ignore distractions, and react immediately. Congratulations! You're no longer training speed, you're training decision speed. Another fantastic exercise is the partner call-out drill. Stand in an athletic position. Your partner randomly shouts, left, right, forward, back. No countdown, no warning, no overthinking. Move immediately. The rule is simple. If you're thinking, you're already late. Because in real competition, your opponent isn't going to politely announce, excuse me, I'll be hitting cross court in approximately 3 seconds. Sports don't give notifications. They give surprises. And the nervous system loves surprises, as long as you train it to expect them. The more unpredictable your practice becomes, the more adaptable your brain becomes. Eventually, your body stops waiting for instructions. It simply reacts, And that's exactly where elite athletes live. Not in faster muscles, but in faster decisions. Why everything falls apart when you're tired. Have you ever noticed something strange? At the beginning of a match, you feel sharp. You read every shot. Your footwork is crisp. Your timing feels perfect. Then 20 minutes later, it's like someone secretly replaced your brain with an old laptop running 47 browser tabs. Suddenly, you're late to every ball. Your feet feel glued to the court. Easy returns become impossible. And you start blaming your fitness. I just need better cardio. Well, yes, but not for the reason you think. When fatigue sets in, your muscles aren't the first thing to slow down. Your nervous system is. That's a huge difference. Most people imagine fatigue as tired muscles, burning legs, heavy arms, out of breath lungs. But your brain is working just as hard as your body. Every second, it's processing visual information, predicting movement, making decisions, sending electrical signals, adjusting balance, coordinating dozens of muscles simultaneously. That's an enormous amount of work. And just like your muscles, your nervous system gets tired too. Think of it like your phone battery. When it's at 100%, everything feels smooth. Apps open instantly. The screen responds immediately. Now imagine you're down to 2%. Battery saver turns on, the phone still works. Just slower. That's exactly what happens to your nervous system. The signals still arrive, just not as quickly. The decisions are still made, just not as cleanly. And suddenly, those extra 40 or 50 milliseconds start showing up everywhere. Your split step is late. Your racket preparation is late. Your first step is late. And by the time you finally move, the point is already gone. Here's the frustrating part. Most athletes don't even realize this is happening. They think, my legs are dead. In reality, their brain simply isn't communicating with those legs efficiently anymore. Imagine trying to have a conversation during a terrible phone call. Hello? Can you hear me? What? That's your nervous system under fatigue. The message eventually gets through, but the delay costs you. Elite athletes know this. That's why they don't just train harder, they train smarter. They deliberately practice reacting while exhausted, because championships are rarely decided in the first 5 minutes. They're decided when everyone is tired, when concentration fades, when decision-making slows, when everyone else starts making mistakes. That's when the athletes with the better nervous system take over. So how do you train that? Simple. Don't separate reaction training from conditioning. Combine them. Sprint, then react. Jump, then react. Finish an intense rally, then react again. For example, run a 20-meter sprint immediately afterward. Have a partner randomly point left or right. No rest? Just react. Or perform 30 seconds of explosive footwork. Then catch a randomly dropped tennis ball. Or finish a set of burpees. Grab your racket and immediately perform shadow swings while responding to random verbal commands. At first, you'll feel terrible. You'll miss easy cues. Your timing will disappear. Perfect. That's exactly where adaptation begins. Because you're teaching your nervous system something incredibly valuable, even when everything hurts. Keep making good decisions. And that's what separates elite competitors from everyone else. Not who feels fresh, but who can still think clearly when nobody else can. The greatest athletes don't win because they never get tired. They win because their brains stay fast, long after everyone else's has slowed down. The secret was never faster muscles. Let's go back to the beginning. Most people believe faster athletes simply have faster bodies. That's only half the story, because every movement begins long before your muscles ever contract. It starts with your eyes, then your brain, then your nervous system. Only then do your muscles get permission to move. Think of reaction time like a 3-stage relay race. Stage 1. See earlier, not by staring harder, but by seeing wider. Train your peripheral vision. Read shoulders. Read hips. Read balance. Read intention. The sooner you recognize a pattern, the sooner your movement begins. Stage 2. Decide faster. Your nervous system is like software. The more quality repetitions you perform, the more efficient it becomes. Reaction drills, ball drops, partner callouts, random visual cues. Every repetition upgrades your internal operating system. Eventually, you stop thinking and start reacting. Stage 3. Stay sharp under fatigue. Because games aren't won when everyone feels fresh. They're won in the final moments. When legs are heavy, lungs are burning, and everyone else's brain starts slowing down. Train your reactions when you're tired, and competition suddenly feels easier. If you remember only one thing from this video, remember this: speed doesn't begin in your feet, it begins in your brain. The fastest athletes in the world aren't always the strongest. They aren't always the fastest sprinters. They simply waste fewer milliseconds, and milliseconds win matches. Think about a tennis return, a baseball pitch, a boxing counter, a goalkeeper diving for a penalty, or even a Formula 1 driver avoiding a crash. Nobody has time to think. The athlete who succeeds is usually the athlete whose brain solved the problem first. So the next time you're tempted to spend another hour lifting weights, or another 30 minutes running laps, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you trained your brain? Because stronger muscles are useless if the signal telling them to move arrives too late. The good news: reaction speed isn't a gift. It isn't something you're born with or without, like strength, like endurance, like technique. It can be trained day by day, rep by rep, millisecond by millisecond, and those tiny improvements add up to something enormous. A shot you finally reach, a return you never used to make, a point you used to lose, a match that suddenly goes your way. Not because you became stronger overnight, but because your brain became just a little faster. And sometimes, that's all it takes. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe for more videos where we break down sports science, biomechanics, training methods, and the hidden secrets behind elite athletic performance. Because the better you understand how your body works, the better you'll perform. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.